Congressional Overhaul in Westchester, Rockland, and the Bronx. 3 districts will get 3 freshman representatives.
Each of them replacing influential members of the House who have held their seats for 3 decades. Political expert Javier Lacayo from SKD Knickerbocker is back with us to discuss this changing of the guard. Let's talk about, I'm going to talk about 4 names. You've got Nita Lowey, you've Peter King, Jose Serrano, Elliot Engel, some big names that are out. You've got newcomers in, as we mentioned, this changing of the guard. How is that going to change the way business is done in Washington and New York, of course?
Yeah, so Chris, I think this is a really significant victory for a lot of these candidates. You have Richie Torres, who's the first openly gay Afro-Latino candidate. You have Mondaire Jones, who joins Richie as one of the first openly gay, Black men to be serving in Congress. And what I think this is showing is the new face of progressivism that's coming out of New York. We've seen how AOC has been the big political star, not just in the state, but really nationwide. And what you're seeing is these candidates coming out in that same mold that are going to be pushing issues of racial justice. They're going to be pushing issues of climate change. And it'll be interesting to see how they reshape the priorities of the House. What we're seeing right now is that while Democrats are still expected to hold control of the House of Representatives, they have not made the gains that we were expecting to see in the election across the board today.
As we look at the changing of the guard locally, I know you're following carefully the presidential race. Do you have any expectations as to when we will finally know a winner in that race?
It's really tough to say right now, Mary. What we do know is that a lot of these Midwestern states, so Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, where it really looks like the race is coming down to, they were not allowed to begin counting their absentee and early votes until yesterday morning. In a lot of cases, particularly in Pennsylvania, there's counties that are not beginning to count in those mail-in votes until this morning. So we know that these states, per their state laws, in Pennsylvania, for example, they're going to have up to 3 days to receive ballots that were postmarked by November 3rd. That was something that was upheld by the Supreme Court. So we could not see final results until potentially Friday.
I also want to just ask you, since we're speaking about the national election here, in a tweet from earlier this morning, President Trump claiming the election is being stolen, quote, and that ballots are being cast after the polls close. Any truth to that? The president tweeting that out this morning, and the tweet obviously being flagged by Twitter.
Yeah, Chris, this is incredibly false and super dangerous. Our elections are sacred, and we need to make sure that the public has full confidence and trust in the process. And that means that every single vote needs to be counted. Like I said, a little bit earlier, by state law, these states can count absentee ballots that have been mailed as long as they are postmarked by November 3rd. And a lot of the votes that are being counted right now in these Midwestern states are not late arriving ballots. These are ballots and early votes that have been cast for days, for weeks ahead of the election. And it's just because of the mechanics of the way that these states are running their election that they just haven't begun counting these ballots yet. Yeah,
rules are different for every state. In a state like Pennsylvania, they have until Friday to count their votes. So some of these races still obviously very, very too close to call at this hour.
Javier Lacayo, thank you very much.